Wow, there's a lot of people out there. Good morning. My name is Timothy, and I'm an addict, and I'm thankful to my higher power that I'm sober today. I ask you to try this. Hold your breath as long as you can, and then you can just take your next breath with nothing being ill will. But imagine taking a breath, but before you can breathe in again, you're going to throw away everything in your family that matters to you. Or you're going to need to take another breath, but before you do that, you become mentally and physically abusive to your loved ones. To breathe, you're willing to throw away your lifestyle, your family, and your spirituality. And finally, your life. This analogy illustrates how addiction forces you into a cycle where you cannot live without causing harm. Addiction is a complex condition involving compulsive behaviors and a powerful urge to continue despite the harmful effects affecting the mind, the body, and the spirit. Addiction is the compulsive and chronic need for a substance, behavior, or activity despite its harmful effects. It is a complex medical condition that involves a powerful urge to continue using or doing something, leading to a loss of control, even when it causes psychological, physical, spiritual, or social problems. I might have been born of a body that is genetically predisposed to addiction. It might have been my environment I was raised in, or maybe it was the will of my higher power. I don't know. And at this point, I don't think it really matters. I know I'm an addict. I discovered my first addiction when I was age 10 or 11. Looking back, I was dealing with feelings of isolation and boredom. My mom and dad had just moved me from San Francisco in a small community, housing tract, to a place where it was rural town, hay fields, and filberts forever. I was dealing with feelings of isolation. I didn't know what to do. There was nobody that lived next to me that I could walk to play with. Also, I was an outsider. I was a city kid dumped in the middle of a rural area. As an outsider, I was having real social isolation issues and did not know what to do. Hours to myself with nothing to give me purpose or something to do. One day, I found a way to feel better about my situation initially. What started out just occasionally finding a relief soon became a daily habit. That habit turned into me being passed out on the floor several times, unconscious. Then the nightmares began. The nightmares of falling through funhouse mirrors forever. Those, even though I'm sober today, those nightmares still haunt me at night in my dreams. At age 13, I found myself grappling with my second addiction. This marked my turning point as my life took a downward spiral, amplified by the relentless bullying that happened at school and in the Boy Scouts. I was dealing with emotional and social issues. I did not know how to fit in socially. I was awkward. I had some, quote, learning disabilities. I just didn't fit. I was looking for a way to feel better about myself, to feel needed, to feel accepted. And I found those in computer gaming and reading books while I hid in the school library. My new addiction allowed me to check out of reality. What started with a simple addiction led to a life of misery and burned bridges. It left me thinking that if I did not take part in my addiction, that things would be so much worse. I started believing in things about myself that were totally untrue and impossible. This addiction led me to a lifetime of being an accomplished liar, breaking several laws to get my fix, and crossing social boundaries that no sane person would want to cross. A good example of this was with my stepson, my first stepson from my first marriage. My job was to watch him after school until his mom got home. I would get him entertained, get him busy doing something, and then I would take part in my addiction for 3 hours, ignoring him, when I should have been bonding with that wonderful, wonderful kid. And to this day, this is one of my biggest regrets, is that not being there for him then and now. My next addiction was alcohol. Most people drink. I went pro and, basically drank about 2 or 3 lifetimes. I started drinking at age 16, but I did not drink regularly until after the age of 21. At this point, it was off to the races. My alcohol abuse led to blackouts, inappropriate behavior, and again, breaking social boundaries. I'm starting to see a theme here. The highlights being not remembering Christmas parties at work, not remembering birthdays, not remembering family events. I would skip social events if alcohol was not served or if I couldn't drink. Once, I actually did successfully stop drinking for 1 full year, but then I decided I could try drinking again, and it was so much worse. And you're thinking, well, how bad was it, Tim? Malt liquor, Steel Reserve, or something like Boone's Ferry or Night Train, fortified wine. I could drink a bottle of that between my car when I pulled in the driveway and the front door. Let me tell you, that's not something to be proud of, but it is impressive. My drinking and other addictions I knew were hurting me and those around me. By the time I found my bottom, I had been fired from 4 jobs, had been accused of sexual misconduct at school. I got nearly expelled from my university, and I'd gone through a divorce, losing contact with my first stepson, and leaving a trail of destruction behind me. At my bottom, I was about to lose my second wife and throw away everything that I had worked for. In Luke 1:37, it says, "For with God, nothing shall be impossible." My bottom came on February 15th, 2012. A group of men showed up at my door asking for me. They explained they were concerned about my behavior and something was going to change. On that day, I thought my life was going to end. I thought I'd wake up in prison the next day. I was going to lose my wife. I thought I was going to lose my job. And amazingly, today I am so grateful to those gentlemen who showed up. They're the ones that helped me realize how bad I'd gone off the rails. My experience since that day, back on February 15th, 2012, has shown me that normally people like me will lose their family, their freedom, their spirituality, their life to this. As soon as it comes out, everybody scurries to the dark like roaches. Then they're not there for them. And that's what I was afraid of. Isaiah 12:2 says, "God is as the source of salvation, strength, and song, leading to the removal of fear." Because of my higher power, I did not lose everything. I started the next morning at my first AA meeting, huddled in the corner trying to hide. In a few months, I started 4 years of intensive weekly counseling, which include polygraph testing. And I have sought medical help for what we now know is a mild form of PTSD and ADHD. I've had my life opened like a book, shared like a well-read novel. You're not the first people that have heard this story, but you're not going to be the last. I agree with the Shrek analogy with the onion. So many layers to peel, and peeling them will sometimes make you cry a lot. So after 15 years of therapy, over almost 1,000 12-step meetings, and a couple of relapses, where am I at today? Am I cured of my addictions? No. My addictions, my demons live inside me and will forever live inside me. I know that if I let them out, I will probably never have another chance. I will lose everything in my life that I've worked for, all the love, the spirituality, the friendship that I've gained in these last 13 years. For the first time, I have found, I lost my place, sorry. So, what was the biggest thing that came out of this for me to start with? First thing is I needed a person who could be my friend and my confidant. The person that I could go to and say, I'm not doing well. And that person is my wife. I have spent the last 13 years trying to rebuild our relationship and based on trust and openness, not the fakeness that I brought to our relationship back in 2002. For the first time, I found someone who I can talk to, somebody that can tell me when I've screwed up and not get upset. I found my soulmate back in 2002. I did not realize it until I nearly lost her. My beautiful wife, thank you. My family has become my bedrock. My mom and dad, even with everything I did to cause harm and other issues, have accepted me in their life. I've made many amends to them, and I still have many more to make. I am so sorry for the hurt that I've caused them and all the damage that I caused to our family over the years. I've gotten a second chance to be there with them, to be part of their life, to be accepted by them in their senior years. I get to be there for my folks. That is truly a blessing. My sister, who unfortunately had to endure all my wonderful behaviors growing up in past tense, has become something so special to me that I cannot put into words. The love I get back from her today is unconditional and very supporting, something that I've missed from her most of my life. The bridges I burned with her while growing up have started to be rebuilt. With her help, I've taken on the responsibilities I've always should have taken on. Being a good steward of our money, taking care of the family, being there for people. She has helped me find that. My social circle, which at one time was just me, myself, and I, has grown to include many people. True, most of them are from my 12-step program, but I have friends outside the program. Like I belong to now the Lake Oswego running group, and I've now belong to this wonderful church. Since joining these groups, I've learned that I can be myself and be accepted. For so long, I wore a mask to hide the darkness within me. Since I've started working on my addiction, I have opened up and let the light in. I still have shadows, but those shadows are disappearing like a sun rising over the horizon. A little bit better every day. My old friends and coworkers have had a long road of helping rebuild relationships. True, some of these have been very hard to win back. I still work with people that don't believe or trust me in anything I say or do. But all I can do is be there, be the best person I can be, put in my 100%, and do what I need to do. I cannot make them change their mind. I just have to be the person I should have been. Yeah. For those that I've mended relationships with, they've been very supportive and understanding. A few of those people know everything. Most know some, and all want to be my friend. People want to be my friend? I just cannot fathom such a thing. It is still amazing. I've got a great friend in the back today, Mark. Wave, Mark. He has been there a long time for me. And this is what I got. And just, it's amazing. Deuteronomy 31:6 says to be strong and courageous. What I'm struggling with is being an honest representative of who I am. I have to own up to my mistakes and not hide them. Be open and honest. I have started to stop embellishing things, a fancy way of saying I'm a good liar. I've had to live a life of an open book. Everyone puts on a false front once in a while. I lived most of my life with a false front. Now, my job is to never put a false front on again. Be who I am and embrace it. Isaiah 55:6 says, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. So the big question is, have I found religion? Have I found Jesus? The answer is no. David Bowie was once quoted as saying, religion is for who fear hell. Spirituality is for those who have already been there. What I have found is spirituality. I believe that there is a higher power that I can only marginally understand today and probably will never fully understand. My core beliefs include the unity of God and the individual mind, the power of thought to heal and shape reality, and the belief of the inherent goodness and divine of nature of all people. Or as I was told once, as you believe, it will be. I don't get on my knees to pray. I don't come to church to lose my sins. I come to church as a place to learn and grow my spiritual understanding. I seek my power in all I do. I believe Jesus was a teacher who taught ideas that were aligned with my core beliefs. I think the same thing about Muhammad, the first Buddha, and many other spiritual teachers. What I call my higher power does not matter to me. I have heard it called the magic muffin by my dad, the Great Spirit, and my favorite, which by a friend of mine, Kent, his sky monkey. That is why I attend church. That's why I attend this church. They accept me for who I am and my beliefs. I never felt like I've been told how to believe in this church. I believe in our mission statement. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. I feel welcome. So what's next to me? What's next? Do I just am I done? No. This is a lifetime journey. I'm still attending 12-step meetings, being there for those that are struggling in the quicksand like I was on that first day. I have taken on roles in these meetings to force myself to be accountable and to be more sociable. It's amazing how making coffee, you can meet a lot of people at 7 a.m. in the morning. I have started meeting a few gentlemen outside of my 12-step meetings for dinner and to attend events. A few of us have gone on hikes. I have friends. My wife and I, bless her soul, still putting up with me. my wife and I are still working on building a new relationship where I am mentally and physically there for her. Every day is a new day to show her that she is the most important and loving person in my life. She is what matters to me most. As for the rest of the world, all I can do is try to be the best person I can be without all the fakeness. I still struggle with being with people. I still struggle with commitment, and I struggle with putting in 100% when only 70% will do. Yes, and I'm going to screw up. I'm going to screw up badly, but that's because I'm only human, and I can move on from that and learn. With hard work, a close family, and commitment to the real deal, each day I live is a blessing that I am so grateful for. In Ephesians 2, verse 8 through 9, for it is by the grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves, it is a gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. My name is Timothy. I'm an addict, and I'm blessed to have so many wonderful people in my life. Thank you for inviting me to talk today.